Sweet friend, did you know that Jesus gently guided his dear ones away from certain actions? These were tender teachings that might softly change how we see our faith today. He wasn't just gathering friends, he was softly unwinding an old, tired way of living. Every tender don't he whispered showed us the gentle truth between religion that just shows off and faith that truly changes our hearts. He asked them not to shout about their kind acts with loud trumpets, nor to pray just for praise, nor to run after anger or might. He asked them to softly put down their swords, even when the world called for struggle. Each gentle whisper touched centuries of showing off and high pride. It wasn't about holding tight, it was about sweetness, about shaping hearts that could hold his tender spirit, keeping it pure and true. Just imagine hearing those soft words for the very first time. Don't tell a soul about this sweet miracle. The dear crowd might softly gasp. The healed one might gently tremble. Why keep it quiet? Because some wonders aren't meant for a big show. They're meant for a gentle change deep within. By the end of this gentle walk, you'll see that what Jesus softly asked us to turn from wasn't to tie us down. No, sweet friend, it was to set us free, to loosen his dear ones from all that isn't true, so the world could finally see what real, heartfelt following truly means. If these first soft words have touched something in your heart, please stay close with us. This is Quiet Bible Whispers, where old, sacred words still speak with sweet power and grace. We've walked through Romans, Isaiah, and Psalms 46. Now, let's gently step beside those first dear followers themselves, to softly hear what Jesus asked them not to do and why. Every little video lives free on our website, along with gentle ebooks for deeper, quiet thoughts. Our sweet mission is simple, to help you feel nearer to what is true, not just to learn facts about it. You can help this gentle work through the links you'll find below. So, with all that said, let's step into this quiet story. Why keep good deeds quiet? We often grow up hearing that our light should never be tucked away, that the dear world needs to see our kind works, hear our voices, feel our tender touch. So we share, we show, we record, again and again, as proof that we are gentle, giving, and helpful. We tend to measure our sweet care by how much it's seen, and our love by how many likes it gathers. But deep inside, a soft little whisper often breaks in. What if real, true light doesn't need anyone to watch? Imagine a gentle healer who mends a little wound, then softly slips away before a name can even be asked. A kind builder who quietly spends the whole night mending a roof for someone they don't know and leaves before the sun comes up. Their sweet goodness changes the world, but leaves no mark of their own. That, dear one, is the gentle goodness that truly lasts, the kind that doesn't need a clap to keep living softly. Keeping kind deeds quiet isn't just about hiding away. It's about a sweet protection. It guards the gentle purity of our heart's intent from the rust of pride. Because praise can be so tempting, it softly wraps around a kind act like shiny gold, until we start doing good, not because it's truly right, but just because it will be noticed. Every dear human heart knows that sweet pull, the little thrill of being seen, the soft longing for approval that sometimes wears a disguise of being good. To keep a kind deed hidden is to gently quiet that hunger. It's choosing deep meaning over just moving quickly. There is a quiet, soft strength in gently saying no to the urge to tell everyone about all you do. The world may never know the gentle cost of your sweet care, the quiet hours you spent, the little sacrifices you made. And that's the tender heart of it. When love has no one watching, it finally becomes true, pure love. This act of keeping things softly hidden also shows us something about our trust, not just in church words, but in the gentle, unseen rhythm of how things unfold. When you do good without needing thanks, you're softly trusting in a world that keeps its own kind of tender count, one that holds dear the quiet heart of your deed more than any big show. You begin to live as if invisible things matter most. True kindness, a whole heart, the sweet secret match between what you say and what you softly do. There's a gentle quietness in being unknown. It softly asks you to look at the part of you that longs to be called good instead of just truly being good. It asks you to build a sweet memory that no one can tie back to your name. The gentle work itself becomes the lasting sign, not how others speak of you. Most dear ones fear being forgotten, but what if the sweetest, highest way to be remembered isn't through our own name in bright lights, but through making life a little better for everyone? Think of the gentle hands that planted tall forests so long ago, never knowing if they'd ever feel the shade. Their quiet silence still speaks to us. Think of the dear, nameless ones who softly carved grand places of worship they'd never sit in. The sweet caregivers whose names will never be in history books, but whose gentle touch changed whole families, generation after generation. The world, dear friend, turns on such quiet, unseen hinges. When you tuck away your kind deeds, you also set others free from having to compare. They no longer have to live up to your brightest moments. They can simply focus on their own soft, quiet work. Hidden goodness, sweet one, multiplies gently instead of trying to win. It becomes like a living garden rather than just a show. There's another soft layer to this quietness, the sweet knowing that every gentle act of kindness holds a little mystery. When you softly help someone, you step into the tender meeting place of their hurt and their quiet strength. To parade that act risks taking that precious moment from them, making their healing part of your own story instead of truly theirs. Sometimes the most sacred thing you can do for another dear soul is to do good and then softly slip away, leaving them the sweet gift of quiet privacy. It's not always easy, dear one. Our own self might push back against being unknown because it feels like being wiped away. But in truth, a hidden, kind act writes itself deeper into the soft cloth of our world than any public showing ever could. A tiny seed tucked away in the soil brings forth more sweet fruit than a seed just sitting on a shelf. There's another soft layer to this quietness, the sweet knowing that every gentle act of kindness holds a little mystery. When you softly help someone, you step into the tender meeting place of their hurt and their quiet strength. To parade that act risks taking that precious moment from them, making their healing part of your own story instead of truly theirs. Sometimes the most sacred thing you can do for another dear soul is to do good and then softly slip away, leaving them the sweet gift of quiet privacy. It's not always easy, dear one. Our own self might push back against being unknown because it feels like being wiped away. But in truth, a hidden kind act writes itself deeper into the soft cloth of our world than any public showing ever could. A tiny seed tucked away in the soil brings forth more sweet fruit than a seed just sitting on a shelf. The quietness of a humble heart has a sound that is louder than any applause. It echoes longer, farther, and with a deeper truth. So why keep kind deeds quiet? Because kindness that no one sees is kindness truly pure. Because keeping it close turns sweet giving into who you truly are. Because the gentle light that shines unseen still softly changes everything it touches, and perhaps, dear one, changes you most of all. When you walk away from a moment you could have shown to the world, you carry a different kind of sweet peace, the kind that doesn't need to be told again. You discover that the purpose of doing good was never for the world to react. It was for the quiet, tender unfolding of your very own heart. Can pride harm a sweet mission? At first, sweet friend, it always begins so purely. Someone feels a gentle spark, a soft calling, to help, to heal, to lift up others. They speak softly, almost shyly, trusting that if they pour out enough light, the shadows will softly fade. But light always draws a gentle eye, and attention can be a strange kind of fuel. Once you taste it, it starts to feel less like a sweet purpose and more like a goal. Little crowds gather, the voice grows a bit louder. Kind words arrive wrapped in praise. What began as gentle service starts to look a little bit like a show. Somewhere between the soft claps and the weariness, pride gently slips in, dressed in gratitude's clothes. It whispers, "Sweet one, they truly need you. Nothing can happen without your touch." Pride never rushes onto the stage. It softly slips in through the quiet backstage door. It changes a sweet mission into a known name, gentle care into a kind of worth. It teaches the hand that once reached out with an open heart to start looking at its own reflection. Every dear human heart that has ever tried to do good has felt that pull. The soft longing to be seen as humble, the quiet wish for approval dressed up as making a difference. Soon, the sweet work that once felt so sacred begins to turn around numbers. How many came? How many follow? How much reach? The tender focus moves from mending hearts to simply keeping eyes on. It's so gentle, almost unseen. The same kind actions continue, but the heart's reason slowly tilts, little by little, until gentle service becomes about keeping oneself going. You can hear it in the way someone starts to speak of my dear people, my sweet place, my gentle dream. You can see it when a kind word of correction feels like a hurt, when every soft talk is weighed with the question, how will this make me look? Pride is clever like that. It doesn't need to break things down. It just needs to softly steer them away. But pride also carries its own soft undoing. The more it asks for sweet praise, the emptier it feels inside. The gentle claps that once thrilled begin to echo hollowly. The crowd's cheers become a kind of noise that can't quiet the little voice asking, "Why does this suddenly feel so empty, dear one?" That sweet emptiness is a mercy. It's the very first little crack where a humble heart can breathe softly again. True strength, dear one, comes back in the quiet moments no one sees. The long, soft drive home after the bright lights have dimmed. The quiet, "I'm sorry" whispered. The choice to gently share the praise. That's where a sweet mission, any gentle service, finds its soul once more. The hands that softly let go of needing to be seen are free again to touch what truly matters. Imagine the dear teacher who gently takes out half a speech because it felt too clever. Or the musician who writes a sweet song that will never be heard by many. Or the kind leader who stops sharing every little act of goodness. Each of these choices is a soft rebellion against pride's tall walls. Each act whispers, "I am not the point, sweet friend." The sweet truth is, the moment you stop needing to be the center, your gentle work becomes strong once more. People feel the soft difference. Words that once felt heavy with "only me" begin to carry sweet grace. Kind deeds, once meant to impress, begin to truly heal. The space once taken by our own self becomes soft room for understanding. It's a beautiful, gentle puzzle. A humble heart doesn't take away strength, it brings it back. The dear one who no longer needs to prove how great they are finally becomes great in a quiet, steady way that truly lasts. A gentle touch that comes from a humble heart can live on, even when it's not there, through misunderstandings, even when no one sees it, because it was never tied to being seen. So, can pride harm a sweet mission? Ah, sweet friend, yes, it can. It happens every day. But it can also make it pure again if you let the gentle fall from caring about yourself teach you how to softly serve once more. The quiet letting go of our own self isn't the end of your gentle calling. It's the sweet beginning of truly being real. Every generation learns the same soft lesson. Pride builds tall statues that time softly forgets. A humble heart plants tiny seeds that bloom long after the planter has gently passed on. Choose, dear one, which sweet memory to leave behind. Because in the end, the gentle work that truly lasts is the work that no longer needs a name attached. The only name that should softly echo in the hearts you've touched is the name of the love that moved through you, not the one who brought it. And when all the loud noises fade, when the bright stage lights dim, and the dear crowd goes home, you'll find such a sweet peace in the quiet. The peace of knowing that the purpose was never for the loud claps. It was for the dear people. It was for the healing. It was the sweet chance to become small enough for something greater to softly pass through you again. Why not seek revenge? Sweet revenge often feels like the most tempting kind of fairness. It can feel so clean when everything else feels messy. It promises to set things right, to give you back a bit of quiet peace. You might softly replay the hurt moment in your mind, writing the story again, so this time you sweetly win. Your words might feel sharper, your actions sting a little longer. For a heartbeat, just imagining it feels like mending. But then, the soft dream fades, and the little wound is still there, only deeper. Because revenge, dear one, never truly brings back what was lost. It just multiplies the hurt until it takes over both sides of the story. There's a gentle scene that plays out everywhere. The dear one who has been hurt stands at a quiet crossroads. One path is lit by hot anger, the other by a soft holding back. The air softly hums with the memory of what was done. Choosing kindness in that moment feels almost strange. It's not being weak, it's like a gentle mending. You are softly cutting away the hurt so the heart doesn't grow sad and cold. People often mistake a strong hand for strength because it makes a loud noise. Forgiveness, dear one, moves so quietly. It builds new things from the inside out. It doesn't make big news, but it softly stops the same old hurt from spinning on for ages and ages. Look at the gentle stories of time. Every sad war begins with one little hurt that never healed. Every long fight starts with one dear heart deciding that pain must be met with more pain. Multiply that by hundreds of years, and you get worlds built on getting even, dressed up as being brave. Yet the rare, sweet times when peace has come into the story, it began when someone gently refused to hit back. The loud world might call it giving up. Sweet time calls it a gentle saving. When you hold tightly to the thought of getting back, you're not just holding the other dear one, you're holding the fire itself. Your own sweet palms start to burn long before it ever touches them. The longer you hold on, the smaller your world quietly becomes, until every thought gently circles the hurt like a little planet around a sun that is fading. At first, you might think you're keeping your pride safe. Later, you'll softly see you've only been guarding your own little cage. The sweet choice to let go of getting back isn't about saying the hurt was okay. No, dear one, it's about gently taking back your own sweet path. It's softly saying, you hurt me, but you don't get to shape the rest of my dear life. There's a soft power in that kind of quiet peace that getting even can never give. Forgiveness, when it finally comes, doesn't rush in like bright sunlight. It comes like a gentle dawn, slow, soft gray, a little hesitant. One sweet morning, you wake up and softly know you don't want to tell that sad story anymore. You don't need anyone to listen to your anger. You're tired of being tied to what broke you. That's how you know the little chain has softly started to fall away. There's a sweet story told about an old craftsman who made sharp blades for warriors. His young helper once asked why the sharpest swords took the longest to make. The gentle master said, because metal that bends too quickly will cut the one who holds it. Hot anger is like that, dear one, easy to warm up, quick to bend, and so dangerous to whoever uses it too soon. A soft patience, choosing not to strike, is the slow, gentle cooling that keeps the blade from turning on you. In the quiet, soft time after holding back, something new begins to grow, a gentle strength without any bitter sting. You discover that what is fair doesn't always mean hurting back. Sometimes it means living so fully and sweetly that your very own life becomes a soft proof that the hurt didn't truly win. The best revenge, if that word must be used, is a gentle change, to build, to grow, to love, even when things try to break down. And when the sweet chance finally comes, the moment when you could hurt them back and no one would blame you, you'll surprise yourself by softly walking away. Not because you forgot, but because you've quietly grown past the sad battleground. You'll feel the weight of the little weapon in your hand and softly know it no longer fits. The world won't understand, dear one. It never truly does. It still mixes up loud noise for power and big shows for strength. But holding on softly has taught you something else, that quiet can be a roar, and letting go can be the loudest, sweetest sound of all. So why not seek revenge? Because it keeps you gently tied to the place of the hurt. Because true freedom costs so much less than getting even, but gives you so very, very much more. Because sweet peace is the only fairness that truly lasts. One dear day, you'll look back and softly see that choosing gentle kindness didn't make you smaller, it made you beautifully whole. What is empty faith? It starts with sounds, dear one. Little bells, soft chants, pages softly turning, voices gently rising. Everyone knows the sweet steps, but sometimes no one remembers why. You can feel it, even if you don't belong to any one path. Dear humans trying to touch the endless through doing things again and again, hoping the way we do it will softly give it meaning. But sometimes the form itself becomes a little cage. The heart softly drifts while the body keeps moving, and the motion begins to feel sacred just because it's so familiar. An empty faith isn't always easy to see. It hides in how perfectly things are done, in the flawless show of believing. You go through the sweet words, the soft songs, the gentle motions, and on the outside, everything looks just right. But inside, dear one, the heart's soft pulse has grown still. The sacred becomes just something the body remembers doing. The old routine that once tied you to something bigger starts to softly keep you away from it instead. One dear day, you'll look back and softly see that choosing gentle kindness didn't make you smaller, it made you beautifully whole. Because true connection is never quite certain. It can softly open you, make you wonder, make you gently change. A routine just keeps you feeling safe and cozy. The quiet emptiness begins softly. Sweet thanks turn into a must-do. Deep respect turns into just a set of moves. You start watching yourself believe, and you notice when others are watching too. The act of being seen takes the place of truly seeing. Slowly, gently, without any bad intent, true heart feeling slips away. There's a sweet story of a violinist who played in a big, beautiful hall every night. The dear people loved her, but after years of soft claps, she softly knew she hadn't truly listened to her own gentle instrument in months. She was just making sounds for show, not making real sweet music. One night, she walked into a quiet, empty place and played there for no one at all, and the sweet music came back. That, dear one, is the soft cure for an empty ritual, quiet privacy. Doing the thing when no one is watching, just to gently remember why you softly began. An empty faith can happen anywhere, in our sweet work, in our dear friendships, in our art. Anytime the outward show lives longer than the heart's soft beat, a sweet ritual turns into just an old thing. The gentle cure is to return. Go back to the pure, soft feeling that started it all. Ask your heart, what was I reaching for before this became just a routine? That question alone can gently wake up meaning again. Some dear ones walk away from all forms completely. Others softly peel away the noise until quietness feels like a prayer again. In that quiet, believing becomes truly honest without any costume. The sweet words may come back later, but softer and with more truth. We have soft ebooks waiting on our website to help guide your deep, quiet thoughts. They are made for sweet seasons like this, times when you need to softly learn again the difference between just moving and truly meaning, between putting on a show and simply being there. You can use them to build new, gentle rhythms that truly breathe life into you. When you begin to softly find true heart feeling again, everything gently slows down. Sweet thanks become simple once more. A soft breath, a gentle sunrise, the voice of a dear friend. Kind acts stop being shoulds and start feeling like a sweet talk. You softly know that sacredness, whatever you call it, isn't hiding in the ritual itself. It's in the quiet truth you bring to it. The sweet ritual was only ever a little doorway you were meant to walk through, not to live at its edge. An empty faith gently falls away the moment you step past what things look like and back into sweet wonder. The moment you stop putting on a show of believing and start truly being part of the mystery. The moment you stop asking how it seems and start asking if it's truly sweetly real. If you've felt the soft weight of doing things again and again without heart, let that gentle unease softly guide you. It's not a failure, dear one. It's a sweet invitation. Every old way, every gentle practice, every routine can be made new again when the heart behind it softly wakes up. The way things are built isn't the problem. Forgetting why it was built is. So breathe softly. Gently peel away what's just for show and keep what is truly alive. The sound of a true heart is quiet, but once you hear it again, you'll softly know it everywhere. Can money serve two masters? It begins so quietly, dear one, never with a harsh greed, always with a soft need. You work, you earn, you breathe a little easier. Then comfort starts to whisper softly. Just a little more would fix everything. The whisper becomes a gentle rhythm that beats with your heart. Before long, the hours blur into one. You measure your sweet worth in numbers and your days by what must be done. What started as feeling safe has become who you are. Money is so clever. It pretends to be nothing special, while softly changing what feels like enough. It doesn't ask for your whole heart right away. It just asks for your gentle eye. And attention given for long enough, dear one, slowly turns into a kind of worship. You start gently shaping your sweet life around gathering things. The next good chance, the next little object, the next soft well done. Your deep purpose quietly moves from inside you to what you can softly count. At first, the sweet rewards feel like proof that the way you're living works. Then, a soft change happens. The little joy fades the moment after the money clears. The new thing you bought loses its shine before the box even touches the floor. You chase that spark again, not because you are empty, but because you are made to seek deep meaning, and meaning has been replaced by just moving. The treadmill softly hums. The sound feels like getting somewhere. It's in this soft blur that your true heart's loyalty gently breaks. The part of you that still dreams of sweet peace begins to softly struggle with the part that longs for control. You tell yourself you can softly serve both, earn much, live kindly, but one will always quietly take over the other. The true value of having things is fear. Fear of losing, fear of not keeping up. The true value of being free is trust. They can't live together for very long. The gentle struggle shows in little moments. Ignoring a dear friend's call because you're too busy looking at numbers during dinner, measuring your sweet giving by how it helps your taxes. You start to feel a quiet shame, but you gently cover it with being busy. Busyness becomes your prayer. The soft glowing screen becomes a little altar. You softly kneel without even knowing it. Then, one sweet day, the numbers don't bring you comfort. Your account is full, but the air around you feels thin. You try to buy back what money slowly took. Soft rest, gentle laughter, sweet love. But they won't trade at that price, dear one. You softly know that having much is wonderful for solving problems of not having enough, but it's not good at mending emptiness. It can build big houses, but not warm homes. Buy gentle medicine, but not true health. Purchase company, but not deep connection. The question, can money serve two masters, isn't about right or wrong math. It's about how things truly work. Two centers of pull can't hold the same soft path. The soul, pulled in two different ways, gently tears. You can have things, or things can have you, dear one, but not both. Some dear ones find this soft truth after losing everything. Others learn it in smaller, gentle ways. The moment they choose to give without hoping for anything back, the moment they feel a sweet peace in just being simple. Giving, it turns out, isn't truly a loss. It's a sweet freedom. When you gently give, you show your own heart that you were never the servant of the money. You were always its soft, kind helper. There's a sweet story of a collector who spent many, many years gathering rare and beautiful art. Near the end of his dear life, he walked through his room of treasures and softly noticed he couldn't remember why half of them truly mattered. So he began gently giving them away, one each week, to dear people who would love them once more. Each sweet gift left the room a little emptier, but his heart felt so much lighter. By the time the walls were bare, he felt richer than he had ever been. That's the gentle puzzle money hides. Its highest, sweetest use is to set things free, not to hold them tight. To let it flow softly through you rather than letting it harden around you. To make it a gentle tool for building rather than just a mirror for your own self. So, can money serve two masters? No, dear one, and that is its sweet mercy. It gently asks you to choose what kind of sweet life you want to build, one measured in gathering things or one measured in truly belonging. The first buys fleeting moments, the second buys deep, sweet meaning. The world will still run after the first. But you, sweet friend, if you are reading these words, you have already felt the soft difference. You know the taste of both kinds of worth, and which one truly feeds your soul. Keep that gentle knowing close. Spend it wisely. Why refuse public glory? The bright light, dear one, always begins as a sweet warmth you don't question. At first, it feels like proof that what you've done truly matters, that the gentle struggle was worth it. People speak your name, softly share your words, lift you a little higher. The gentle applause feels like sweet sunlight after a long winter. You start to lean towards it, but sunlight that never softly fades turns to a harsh glare, and glare blinds. Fame, any kind of it, gently changes the soft nature of being true. What began as a sweet sharing slowly becomes what others expect. The dear crowd doesn't want your true heart anymore. They want their own soft picture of it. You feel it when you pause in the middle of a sentence and softly think, will they like this me? That gentle question is the very first crack. The moment you ask it, your sweet voice stops belonging only to you. The soft trap isn't always being too proud. Sometimes it's sweet thanks stretched too thin. You start putting on a show of being thankful, making humility a little too big, carefully choosing what feels real. Every sweet smile is half-held. Every quiet moment feels a little strange. The more they see, the less of your own self you truly hold. What once was a sweet gift becomes something used up, and you can't tell if the praise truly feeds you or gently drains you. It's so strange how quickly sweet admiration turns into a give me more. The same dear crowd that lifted you can start asking for the same thing again, for more proof, more show. You begin protecting the picture of yourself instead of the soft truth. You start to softly say no to invitations that might show your gentle limits. You stop telling sweet stories that make you feel small. You think you're keeping your voice safe, but truly, dear one, you're changing your very own human heart. That's why some dear ones gently walk away. They leave the noise right in the middle of the soft claps, not because they are angry, but to truly live. They long for the sound of their own quiet thoughts again, the pure, soft rhythm of making something new. They want to feel the sweet work before the world gives it a name. They understand that glory, borrowed from others' eyes, is so fragile. One blink, and it's softly gone. There's a sweet picture of a mountain lake so perfectly still, until a single loud shout breaks its calm. Fame is that loud shout. Humility, dear one, is the gentle water settling soft again. Both have beauty, but only one reflects clearly. The true, soft bravery is to choose the quiet path after tasting the loud noise. To gently step out of the bright light, not because it let you down, but because it finished its sweet lesson. To remember that what made your gentle work strong was never being seen, it was being true. And truth rarely shows itself well under a constant, bright light. So you learn to let the soft claps pass through you like a gentle wind through trees. Heard, sweetly thankful for, but not held on to. You learn to leave room for quiet in every sweet success. To gently check if you still know your own heart's soft beat beneath the cheers. You start softly celebrating the good you do without needing to own it, giving thanks without holding too tight. The world might call it a humble heart, but it feels more like sweet air to breathe. Without the constant need to be seen, dear one, you start truly seeing again. The dear faces in the crowd, the gentle feel of everyday moments, the small, sweet joys that fame often hides. You rediscover the soft freedom of not being the biggest thing, the sweet ability to create, to love, to simply be without anyone watching or speaking of it. Gently saying no to public glory doesn't mean pushing away sweet things. It means remembering that praise is just a passing soft breeze, not a world to live in. It's understanding that the gentle work must live on longer than anyone who sees it. It's softly trusting that deep meaning grows more in the quiet dark. When you finally step away from the stage, dear one, and the loud noise fades behind you, you'll feel a soft, sweet stillness. That's not emptiness. That's truth softly coming back. And in that quiet, you'll remember why you started to speak, to build, to heal, not to be seen, but to truly be real. What is forbidden judging? Judging, dear one, begins as a quick thought. We softly look at faces, little actions, choices, fast, automatic. It feels like a soft protection. If we can put a name to something, we feel we can hold it tight. But holding tight is a hungry thing. It doesn't stop at just naming things. It asks for who is better. Soon, we're not just naming what people do, we're softly measuring their worth. In every gathering, there's a quiet whisper, a little line drawn between us and them. The names change with time, but the feeling doesn't. We forget how easily we change old stories to make our own thoughts seem right. We build gentle mirrors that show others twisted and ourselves just perfect. This sweet idea feels comforting, but it's also like a soft poison. True, deep understanding begins to fade the moment judging becomes a habit. Once we decide someone's sweet story, we stop softly listening. We stop imagining the countless unseen little things that made them act that way. We make things simple, down to just a yes or no. It's quick, but it starves our gentle heart of kindness. Think of a busy place. Voices softly arguing, eyes glancing this way and that. A dear stranger drops a little coin. Someone makes a harsh face, thinking they were careless. No one softly notices the little tremble in the stranger's hand, the long night without sleep that made their fingers shake. The harsh face spreads faster than truth ever could. That, dear one, is judging, a whisper of being better, dressed up as being wise. The gentle puzzle is that we judge others to keep from being judged ourselves. Every harsh thought is like a little shield made of fear. If I show your fault, we might think, maybe no one will see mine. But shields, dear one, block out the light both ways. We end up all alone, sure of our own goodness, but aching for a sweet touch with others. There's a sweeter weight to carry, the gentle weight of knowing. The moment we remember our own mixed-up ways, judging softly melts. It doesn't disappear, it changes into a soft wonder. Wonder asks, why, dear one? Judging says, how dare you? The difference between those two sweet sentences is the distance between quiet peace and a bitter heart. Learning not to judge doesn't mean ignoring hurt or pretending everything is sweet and fine. It means gently taking apart what needs to be made right from what only means to shame. Making things right aims to mend. Shaming aims to make someone feel small. One asks for a soft bravery. The other just asks for someone to watch. The most dangerous kind of judging, dear one, is inside you. The quiet trial where you stand accused by your very own mind. You softly replay mistakes until feeling sad becomes who you are. You call it a humble heart, but it's just another kind of pride, believing you are the one dear person not worthy of sweet forgiveness. That inside courtroom has no way out until you softly decide to let the case go. There's a sweet freedom in saying softly that you don't know enough to truly judge everything. You know just little bits, moments seen from one small side. Behind every action is a story too big for any single answer. When you softly take that in, understanding gently slips in like sweet air through a little open window. Sometimes the hardest thing is to let someone's story softly unfold without changing it. to simply witness rather than to loudly declare, to let what happens softly teach instead of trying to hold tight to the lesson. When you do this, dear one, you discover that kindness isn't weakness, it's seeing truly. It sees the dear person, not just what they did. It sees the gentle journey, not just the little mistake. Eventually, you softly know that the line between us and them was just chalk, not a hard stone. Gentle rain falls, and it washes away. We are left standing on the same soft ground, equally tender, equally full of what could be. The air feels lighter there. You start speaking slower, listening longer. You find that being wise without judging still keeps you safe, but it also gently mends. What is forbidden judging? It's the proud heart that forgets we are all still growing. It's the hurried heart that asks for everything to be perfect before offering sweet care. The parts gently asked us to avoid isn't having thoughts, it's thinking you are better than others. The moment you stop needing to be better, dear one, you finally become truly, sweetly kind.
Why not fear passing on? It begins with a soft whisper, dear one. Most of us spend our sweet lives trying not to hear it, a little question that hums softly beneath the sounds of everyday living. When the bright lights go out, what happens to me? We build tall walls of busy things to quiet it: work, dreams, fun, noise. But the whisper is so patient. It waits in quiet rooms where we are sick, in sudden silences after gentle laughter, in the soft breath between a heart's beat and its stillness. We fear passing on because it's the one gentle meeting we cannot change. We fear stories ending too soon, the thought that the dear people we love will keep moving through a world that forgets our little steps. Most of all, we fear what we don't know. We've learned to name every little star, but not the soft darkness between them. Yet life itself is a gentle stream of smaller sleeps, seasons softly ending, dear friendships fading, old me's gently shedding. Each time something in us closes, something else quietly begins. The sweet knowing that we have lived through so many endings should make the last one feel less strange. Every sweet change we've known is like a gentle practice. Look at the sweet natural world. Nothing truly stops, it just softly shifts. The dear tree that falls becomes soft soil. The wave that gently crashes becomes the tide again. Even light softly bends, but never truly goes away. Nature never wastes, it gently brings new wonder from old. We are part of that soft rhythm, dear one, whether we know it or not. To truly fear passing on is to misunderstand the gentle pattern we've always lived within. What if the deep fear of passing on is really the fear of meaning? Because if everything softly ends, then everything truly matters. Every kind word spoken, every sweet touch offered, every moment of gentle beauty becomes something that will end, and so becomes so precious. Knowing about passing on, when we stop softly running from it, makes life feel bigger. Colors grow brighter, time gently slows. You stop just looking quickly through days as if they will never end. You start softly tasting them. There's a sweet story of an old sailor who had lived through too many wild storms. When asked if he feared drowning, he softly smiled. "The dear sea raised me," he said. "If it takes me, it only calls me home." That isn't giving up, dear one. It's a deep understanding. The one who has lived close to danger learns to see passing on not as a punishment, but as a gentle edge that gives softness to bravery. When dear people softly touch the edge of passing on, a doctor's gentle words, a little accident, the loss of someone they love, they often speak of the same sweet change. What matters most gently rearranges itself without being asked. What once felt so pressing becomes small. What once felt tiny, a soft touch, gentle laughter, quiet time, suddenly glows with deep meaning. Knowing about passing on, when we stop softly running from it, makes life feel bigger. Colors grow brighter, time gently slows. You stop just looking quickly through days as if they will never end. You start softly tasting them. There's a sweet story of an old sailor who had lived through too many wild storms. When asked if he feared drowning, he softly smiled. "The dear sea raised me," he said. "If it takes me, it only calls me home." That isn't giving up, dear one, it's a deep understanding. The one who has lived close to danger learns to see passing on not as a punishment, but as a gentle edge that gives softness to bravery. When dear people softly touch the edge of passing on, a doctor's gentle words, a little accident, the loss of someone they love, they often speak of the same sweet change. What matters most gently rearranges itself without being asked. What once felt so pressing becomes small. What once felt timey, a soft touch, gentle laughter, quiet time, suddenly glows with deep meaning.
That's the sweet, secret gift hidden inside the fear. It teaches us to live wide awake. The shadow of passing on is not meant to freeze us. It's meant to gently show us the light. We become so softly full of kindness when we accept our gentle limits. We forgive quicker. We speak sweet truth right away. We hold each other longer. The sweet knowing that everything ends turns love from just a feeling into gentle actions.
And when the sweet moment finally comes, when the dear body begins to softly let go of the little spark inside, fear gives way to gentle memory. You won't be counting things you own or reliving old wins. You'll be remembering sweet faces, soft voices, the feeling of truly belonging. That gentle knowing is what dear people mean when they speak of peace at the end. It's the feeling that nothing truly important was wasted. So why not fear passing on? Because fearing it doesn't stop it. Because softly running from it makes sweet life smaller. Because looking it gently in the eye teaches you how to truly live without wasting a single breath. One dear day, perhaps long from now, you'll wake to a soft dawn that feels strangely known. You'll softly know that the unknown you once feared was just another gentle version of coming home. The whisper that once made you scared will finally sound like sweet rest. And in that final quiet, you'll softly understand the purpose was never to avoid the ending. It was to make the story worth reading again and again. What is false following? It begins, dear one, the way every soft pretending begins, with copying. Someone hears sweet truth spoken with a gentle fire and decides to borrow that little flame. They copy the soft movements, the sweet words, the look of strong belief. They speak of passion the way an actor says lines, perfect on the outside, but empty in the echo. From far away, it seems so real. Up close, you can feel a little chill where warmth should be. A false following isn't always meant to trick. Often, it's just being very tired, dressed up as being eager. A dear person wants so much to belong to something truly meaningful that they learn belief by heart instead of softly living it. They gather sayings like little shields, speak of rules like secret words. But copying without truly changing is just a show. It keeps our own self safe while starting the sweet soul. The little signs are soft and quiet. You start to speak up for thoughts you've never truly felt inside. You show care without it ever being hard. You speak of being true while softly making little deals. You begin to measure true heart feeling by how loudly it is shown. Slowly, the show becomes a habit, and habit becomes who you are. The part you play softly takes over the one playing it. The moment when things are seen always comes quietly. Someone softly asks a question you can't answer from memory alone. Or you meet a gentle moment your practiced belief cannot hold. The sweet script falls apart in your hands, and all that is left is quiet. The gentle, uneasy space where true being must be built from new. The sweet puzzle is that when the pretending falls away, it feels like a failure. But truly, dear one, it is sweet grace. Pretending is so heavy. Being true is lighter, even when it softly hurts to say, I don't know, or I am still gently learning. That reopens the sweet path where growth can flow.
True following, true learning, true walking always begins where being perfectly sure softly ends. There's a sweet old story of a craftsman teaching young helpers to carve. He would give them perfect tools but dull blades. Weeks later, when their work looked rough, he would softly ask what they had learned. Most grumbled about the tools. A few dear ones softly knew they needed to sharpen their own edges first. That's the difference between just repeating and truly living it. Echoes repeat the gentle teacher. True followers softly sharpen their own hearts. In any sweet calling, the pull to copy will softly return. You'll feel a gentle pressure to sound just right, to move with the dear crowd, to match their speed. But every time you mimic instead of thinking deeply, dear one, you lose a soft layer of your own sweet voice. The point of softly following anything true is to become more fully your own dear self, not just a copy of someone else's loving heart.
When you softly catch yourself putting on a show, gently stop. Bring closer the space between what you say and what you softly do, even by a breath. Speak less, dear one. Observe more. Let that little gap softly, sweetly bring you to truth. That gentle unease is the first true prayer of every dear one who pretended but now truly wants to be real. A false following feeds on soft claps. A true following learns to live on gentle correction. The first builds tall stages. The second builds dear people. One ends when the crowd turns away. The other keeps softly walking long after the lights go out. If you ever softly wonder which one you are, listen to what happens when no one is watching. Do you still serve, still study, still softly care? If the answer is yes, even quietly, imperfectly, dear one, you are already walking away from just copying toward being whole. Because the sweet goal was never to be perfectly without fault. It was to become so clear that what you follow can be seen moving through you, softly and truly, without being changed. And that kind of sweet clarity, once found, doesn't need a stage. It shines all by itself. Can ambition harm faith? It begins with a sweet hunger, dear one, the kind that once made you softly brave. The gentle push to build, to create, to become. Ambition is so beautiful when it is pure. It's the heart's soft beat of moving forward, the little spark that gently carries you through fear. But somewhere along the soft path, ambition changes its taste. It stops tasting like sweet purpose and starts tasting like, I must prove myself. You tell your heart it's still about the gentle work, the sweet reason, the soft calling. But there's a little shadow underneath that push now, a quiet question that won't leave you alone. If I stop doing so much, will I still truly matter? That's when ambition softly crosses a line. What used to gently serve you now starts to gently own you. At first, the change is unseen. The late, soft nights feel noble. The tiredness feels sacred. You start skipping moments of gentle rest, because rest looks too much like being weak. You measure your sweet worth by how fast you are moving. You tell dear people it's just a busy season, but the season never softly ends. Slowly, you softly know you've been bowing to the altar of always doing more, praying to be seen as one who can't be replaced. Ambition harms when it forgets its first sweet path, when it stops being about gently building something true and starts being about building a statue to your own self. It dresses itself up as doing things perfectly, but really, dear one, it's fear wearing little shields, fear of not mattering, fear of being forgotten. And the little shields get so heavy. You start to notice the soft signs. You can't celebrate anyone else's sweet wins without feeling a little smaller. You start trying to win in rooms that were meant for gentle helping. You speak of sweet dreams, but secretly long for soft praise. The more you do, the more worried you become, because now you have something dear to lose. There's a sweet story of a sculptor who carved for many, many years, chasing what was perfect. When he finally showed his most beautiful work, it was without fault, and he felt nothing, dear one. The sweet joy that once came from making things had been replaced by a strong wanting. The moment he softly knew this, he took a gentle hammer and broke the statue. Not out of anger, but out of sweet kindness. He wanted to set himself free from what he'd started to worship. True ambition is gentle service. It lifts others as it softly rises. Harmed ambition is like a strong wanting. It uses others to feed its own self. You can softly tell which one you have by what happens when no one is clapping. If quietness feels like you can't breathe, you've been living for soft applause. If quietness feels like sweet peace, you've remembered your true purpose. The gentle cure isn't to take away ambition. It's to make it pure, to softly remind it who it truly works for. To build without needing to own, to aim high without stepping on what's softly beneath your feet. Every sweet dream needs a gentle push, but a push without a humble heart turns that dream into just wanting to look good. A gentle balance begins the day you start softly asking, not how far can I go, but who might get lost if I don't slow down, dear one? It's possible to climb every tall mountain and still feel empty at the top. The air up there is thin for a reason. It's meant to softly remind you that you can't live long in a place built only for show. The soft journey down, the return to being human, to gentle rest, to sweet friendships, that's where the soul softly breathes again. So yes, dear one, ambition can gently harm faith. It can turn a sweet calling into a race, prayer into endless work, purpose into a heavy weight. But when it's gently given over, when it's made soft and true by a humble heart, it becomes strength again. It becomes gentle fuel instead of a wildfire. It burns so cleanly. And in that soft knowing, you remember, the sweet goal was never to be the greatest. The goal was to be true to what was gently given to you, to build something that lasts longer than your own self, to leave the world lighter than you found it. When you hold that sweet truth close, ambition softly bows to meaning. And in that soft bowing, it finally becomes sacred again.
Why did he say wait? Waiting, dear one, is the softest, hardest lesson. It looks like doing nothing, but it feels like everything. An unseen, gentle weight pressing softly against the heart. A test with no clock. You look for little signs that never quite come. You walk the same quiet path until your footsteps softly blend together. The quietness begins to sound like nothingness, yet every deep, sweet change begins right here, in the still, soft space between what was promised and what will gently arrive. To wait is to softly let go of holding tight, without letting go of hope. It's to hold a gentle movement inside your bones, while saying no to moving before the perfect time. In that soft holding, pride gently breaks, hurriedness gently breaks. The need to make things happen softly melts away, until all that is left is trust in the gentle unfolding. Growth happens softly beneath the surface, little roots gently pushing into unseen soil, strength forming where eyes can't measure it. The dear ones who learn to wait are not just sitting still, they are strong in their soft holding back. They wake every sweet morning and choose steadiness over putting on a show. They refuse to push what isn't softly ready. They know that timing is its own kind of deep wisdom. A tiny seed pulled open too soon dies, but one left to the gentle rhythm of sun and season softly thrives. Waiting, dear one, changes how you see time. It teaches you to count moments by how much they mean instead of by minutes. You start softly noticing little signs, a gentle talk that makes your heart soft, a door that closes to kindly keep you safe from yourself, a little delay that turns out to be a sweet path. You begin to understand that questions without answers are sometimes like a soft protection, wearing a gentle disguise. There's a sweet legend of a potter who gently shapes bowls from soft clay. He leaves them in the fire longer than his young helpers think they need. When they softly wonder why, he smiles and says, "If I take them out now, they'll look perfect, but they'll crack the very first time they're filled." Waiting, dear one, is that extra gentle warmth that makes you strong enough to carry what is coming. Slowly, patience softly changes how you see. You stop asking, "When will this end?" and start softly asking, "What is this building within me?" The fear of waiting turns into a soft wonder about getting ready. You find sweet peace, not because the waiting is over, but because you found deep purpose inside it. The gentle pause becomes sacred. The stillness becomes a quiet strength. When the long wished-for moment finally comes, dear one, it rarely announces itself loudly. It slips in so quietly, like a soft dawn after a very long night. You softly know you've changed so much that what you were waiting for no longer feels strange. It feels like a sweet knowing. The waiting wasn't a punishment, it was a gentle aligning. So why the gentle ask to wait? Because some sweet gifts can't live through hurriedness.
Because quietness shows what speed often hides. Because patience teaches you to receive without holding too tight. The sweet lesson of every long, soft delay is the same. Nothing truly meant for you will ever arrive too late. If you've reached the end of this sweet story about waiting, thank you, dear one. It means you were willing to sit inside the unknown and listen for deep meaning instead of loud noise. That soft hunger for depth is a rare and precious thing. Our sweet hope is that these words didn't just tell you things, they softly woke something up inside you. A gentle reminder, a soft morning, or maybe an invitation to slow down and trust the gentle timing of your own unfolding. If this sweet journey softly spoke to your heart, there is more waiting. Quiet spaces filled with stories of holding on, of humble hearts, and of being made new. You can explore them freely in our story library, where each piece is made to help you gently grow through quiet thought rather than busy distractions. And if you prefer to read or study when you're not online, our gentle ebooks were made for that sweet purpose, to guide you deeper, slower, steadier. That's the sweet heart behind every story here, to help you live more awake, more grounded, more whole. If that gentle feeling touches your heart, you are part of this dear family already. You can help this sweet work by sharing it, sending it to someone who is still in their season of waiting. Every share keeps the gentle light moving. As you leave these words, carry this sweet truth. Waiting isn't wasted time. It's the warm kiln where strength is gently formed. May patience become your soft power and stillness your quiet courage. Until next time, stay rooted in sweet truth, stay awake to wonder, and keep softly walking. The quietness was never empty, dear one. It was always preparing.